23-year-old charged in relation to deadly attack on Trelawney teen and her family. A man was on Monday charged in connection with a Trelawney home invasion that left a 15-year-old girl dead, her mother and a cousin injured. Charged with misprision of felony is 23-year-old Timor Brown, otherwise called Big Head of Cotton Tree, All Sides District, Trelawney. Misprision of felon is when someone knows about a crime but fails to report it to the authorities. Schoolgirl Jamaica Cole and her family were at their home in Alberton, Trelawney on the early morning of Sunday, August 6, 2023, when they were attacked. Culprits inflicted several wounds on 3 of the 4 occupants, and 8-year-old managed to escape injuries. It was reported that 2 masked men entered the premises through a glass window. The men reported they used pieces of board to beat the mother and the teen girls in their head. Cole was raped, beaten, and left tied up in a yam field near her home. All 3 were subsequently taken to hospital where Cole died. As part of the investigation, police acting on information apprehended Brown on Monday, February 12. According to the police, he admitted to having knowledge of the incident. He was later charged on Monday, February 19 and is awaiting a court date. Pregnant woman accused of smuggling contraband to paralegal murder suspect. The pregnant common-law partner of the St. Andrew mechanic accused of killing paralegal Sandra Risden is now facing charges after she allegedly attempted to smuggle contraband to him in police custody. Information reaching reporters that the woman brought food for her partner, and during a routine check of the container, a second container was reportedly attached to the one containing the food. Videos circulating on social media show police removing the contraband, including lighters, marijuana, whistle pack, and cell phones. The heavily pregnant woman remains in custody. Her partner, 30-year-old O.J. Russell, otherwise called Jerry Stunt, is charged with murder, assault at common law, possession of a prohibited weapon, and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Reports from the Constant Spring Police are that about 7:05 a.m. on Thursday, January 18, resident 63 was driving along the roadway when Russell and another man drove up on a motorcycle and opened gunfire, killing her. An off-duty officer pursued the hitmen, prompting one of the men to point the firearm at him before escaping in the area. 2 killed in motor vehicle collision along Spring Hill Main Road in Trelawney. 2 people died as a result of injuries they sustained in a 2-vehicle crash along the Spring Hill Main Road in Trelawney yesterday morning. Their identities have not yet been confirmed. The incident reportedly occurred sometime around 9 a.m. Head of the Trelawney Police Deputy Superintendent Winston Milton said the crash involved a Toyota Noah, which was being operated as a public passenger vehicle on the Duncans to Falmouth Road, and a privately registered motor car. The incident followed another in Falmouth on Sunday, which resulted in the deaths of 4 men.
Yeah, still in the early stage of our investigation. But yes, 2 persons died in a 2-vehicle collision at Spring Hill. One is a Toyota Axia motor car, a privately registered motor vehicle, and the other is a Toyota Noah public passenger vehicle. The drivers of both vehicles were fatally injured as a result of the impact.
Prime Minister urges caution on public motorcades after 15-year-old fell to his death. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has expressed sadness at the death of a 15-year-old boy who died while on a political motorcade in Portmore St. Catherine on Sunday. Lamar Gray died after he fell from a bus as part of the People's National Party motorcade. He was reportedly hanging from the bus and fell. Holness, who is the leader of the ruling Jamaica Labour Party, appealed to supporters during a campaign tour in East Portland on Monday to travel with care during motorcades and ensure that they observe rules of the road. Our campaign must be normal, do not hang out of buses, and those riding bikes, be very careful, stated Holness. I took a little time and went through my newspaper and saw that a 15-year-old fell and died on a campaign. I believe it was in Portmore, and this youngster, who was apparently on the PNP's campaign, had an accident, fell from the bus and died. Very tragic, and my heart goes out to his parents, and I'm sure all of you here are keeping that family in your prayers. It is really, really sad that this has happened, he added. Holness also acknowledged the incident in St. Thomas, where a JLP supporter was injured. Last Sunday night, I went to visit one of our workers, who was also a victim of an accident, where she lost a leg, was crushed, quite different circumstances. Boulders fell off and rolled onto the truck and damaged her leg, and she had an amputation. Really, really sad. So I want to say to all of you here, when we call you out for a campaign, I have a responsibility to make sure that whatever we do, it is done orderly and it is done with your safety and security in mind, wholeness added.
This youngster who was apparently on the PNP's campaign had an accident, fell from a bus and died. Very tragic. And my heart goes out to his parents. And I'm sure all of you here is keeping that family in our prayers.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Westport and Darrell Valls has charged that the JLP will win all 9 municipal divisions in Portland on election day. In 2016, JLP took 7 seats to 2 by the PNP, Prospect and Port Antonio. Speaking at a mass rally in Port Antonio on Monday night, Valls said things will be different this time around. Make I tell you something? Can you know that I'm a political scientist? Many in the lay and the rary, in the figures and the strategy. And I can tell you tonight that Port Antonio and Prospect gone. Them said that time. But time come for Prospect and Port Antonio become JLP. Westmoreland Health Department urges caution when sourcing and using water. As some sections of Westmoreland experience low levels of rainfall, the parish's health department is advising residents to exercise caution when sourcing and using water for domestic purposes to prevent potential health risk. Health Education and Promotion Officer for the parish, Gerald Miller, said the department wants citizens to safeguard themselves from illnesses that can occur because of unsafe water. We want to remind residents to ensure that the water they are consuming is safe, and when we say safe, we mean that it is free from contaminants, free from germs that can cause them to get sick, he noted. Miller said that citizens are being encouraged to pay attention to advisories regarding the treatment of water. For areas where persons must buy water, we are encouraging them to ensure that they adhere to the guidelines that are set by the Westmoreland Public Health Department. So, they are to ensure that the trucks have a food handle permit and that their sterilized certificate and license plate number on the document must be the same as the truck that is purchasing the water for them, he underscored. We want persons to pay attention to these guidelines because we do not want our people to end up having gastroenteritis or other diseases that could be avoided if they have ensured that the water they consume is safe. So persons should follow the guidelines as to how to treat water if they are going to boil it and how to treat it if they are going to use bleach, Miller stated. He said adhering to the measures will ensure that the hospital and health centers are not overrun with persons having diarrhea illnesses. Furthermore, we do not want our children to end up missing school because of diarrhea diseases. So it is important for persons to bear that in mind, especially persons who have to rely heavily on water sources such as rivers, which are not treated, Miller stated. NCB Staff Association triumphs at Privat Council in profit-sharing scheme fight with bank. The National Commercial Bank, NCB, has lost its case at the Privat Council in its long-running legal fight with workers who are seeking to enact their entitlement from the Financial Giants profit-sharing scheme. NCB wanted Jamaica's full appellate court to find that then the Supreme Court Judge, Justice Bryan, wrongly interpreted the bank circulator of the scheme and that the meaning of the term consolidated profit before tax. In December of 1980, NCB implemented a profit-sharing scheme with its staff members who were represented by the NCB Staff Association, which was subsequently incorporated into their employment contracts. The terms of the scheme was reflected in a staff circulator which provided that the maximum annual amount to be distributed shall be 6% of the consolidated profit before tax, as agreed by the company's auditors before, making allowances for the payments on the scheme as shown in the audit account of the immediate preceding a year. On December 23, 2002, NCB informed the association that based on computation done on its external audits, no profit sharing was payable for the year ending September 30, 2002, as some attributable to minority interests have been deducted from the consolidated profit before tax amount of the year 2002. But for the deduction, the threshold set, as in the circulation for the triggering the profit-sharing scheme, would have been met. As at 2002, the effective date for the contract, profit before taxation and extraordinary items, was just over $2.2 billion. The Chief Justice granted declarations that the profit-sharing scheme formed part of NCB employees' contract of employment, the deduction was not in keeping with the terms of the circular, and that a profit-sharing payment was due for the year ending September 30, 2002. The judge awarded simple interest from October 1, 2002 to the date of payment. NCB filed an appeal in the Court of Appeal, contending, inter alia, that the judge wrongly interpreted the circular and that the meaning of the term consolidated profit before tax. NCB did not challenge the judge's finding that the profit-sharing scheme has been incorporated into the employer's contract. The Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal, and NCB took the matter to the Privy Council. While it did not challenge the judge's finding that the scheme was incorporated into the workers' employment contracts, it sought to challenge its interpretation and application of the formula relating to the participation in the profit-sharing scheme as a well-awarding interest for a period that was long before originally claimed by Staff Association. Submissions in the case were heard at the Privy Council last December, and the court dismissed NCB's appeal. It ruled that the declaration granted by the Chief Justice should remain unchanged. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.